What's good, everyone? This is Artist of Truth coming to you once again with another vlog. I'm going to get straight to the point. This video is about a U.S. representative that goes by the name of Alan Bernard West, an American political commentator whose inputs and personal opinions are not representing of all Americans. But I was watching a short snippet on Facebook, and he basically had a few choice words for Kaepernick and Nike, talking about, well, why didn't Nike choose instead of choosing Kaepernick? Why didn't Nike choose Pat Tillman? And those of you who don't know about Alan West, in which he's a U.S. retired Army lieutenant colonel, former member of the House of Representatives. Keyword former. That means, Mr. West, your opinion is simply irrelevant. I don't know why the news media outlets still bother to put a microphone in front of you. You quite obviously are totally and completely out of touch with reality. And on top of that, a retired Army lieutenant, a lieutenant? I'm like, really? Okay. As my thing is, how much ass did you have to kiss in order to get your ranks? Who did you have to turn your back on to get your ranks, your medals? Because what some people fail to realize is Kaepernick took a great risk. He was willing to jeopardize his career as a football player. But before I go on any further, let me rewind and get back to his statement about why didn't Nike select Pat Tillman to be the face, the face for Nike's 30th anniversary and whatnot. So, of course, I thought about it, and I couldn't forget is Alan West is, even though he is a highly educated buffoon, but furthermore, he's totally and completely out of touch, because Pat Tillman was killed in the line of duty. This is true. But he was killed by friendly fire. So technically that sacrificed him. To what avail? To what advantage? The world may never know. Pat Tillman's family stressed that they did not want anyone to use his name for any sort of political gain. So Alan Bernard West, I highly recommend you sitting back, shutting your mouth, and following simple instructions that has been requested from Pat Tillman's family. Do not use this man's name talking about sacrificing. He gave up his career as a football player, as an NFL football player, to join the military, to fight someone else's war. The same thing that you, Alan Bernard West, was willing to do. You were willing to go and fight in a war that honestly really didn't have shit to do with you. The people that you should have been having some sort of war against, you didn't. Instead, you were so weak-minded and such a big coward that you went along and joined their army. So if anyone is going to talk about disrespecting the whole American culture, the American flag, I must say, Alan Bernard West is one of the most shallow-minded, oblivious to reality and the facts and the truth about what sacrificing really is. I was like, just because you joined the military, what do you feel like you sacrificing something? No, you're not sacrificing anything. See, let me tell you something. Alan Bernard West doesn't understand. Muhammad Ali sacrificed. That was a sacrifice because he refused to join an army to go fight in a war against people that never did anything to him. Like, how in the world are you going to fight alongside of your enemy only to come back home and be treated less than a human? See, once again, Alan Bernard West is totally and completely out of touch. I was like, you know, people like that, they don't know what they're talking about. Alan West is nothing more than a pawn. He's a pawn, you know. And like I said, he's a former U.S. House of Representative, which that says a lot. That really says a lot. Like, what did you actually do? You know, you were part of the Republican Party. You represented Florida's 22nd congressional district in the House from 2011 to 2013. And I guess you feel as though you've accomplished a whole lot. But for who, though? You really didn't accomplish, you know, you really didn't accomplish anything other than joining someone else's army. And Kaepernick, he actually sat during the national anthem. A former vet. And this just goes to show you that some people, they do a lot of talking, but they don't do a lick spit of research. Even some of the most highly educated people with multiple degrees still don't have an ounce of common sense to even think about doing your own research before you open your mouth. Alan West needs to learn how to do his research before spitting his opinion out there and making himself look quite obvious. A stupid, ignorant, well, basically, he's a nigga. Let's just put it like that. So if anyone wants to call Alan Bernard West a nigga, hey, you have my blessings. Because when you're black and you're ignorant, because you have chosen not to do your research, this is what makes a nigga. And that's who Alan West is. But a former vet wrote to Kaepernick explaining his feelings about what Kaepernick was doing by him sitting during the national anthem. And it's surprisingly, Kaepernick got in touch with him. They had a sit-down, face-to-face meeting. And who made the suggestion about kneeling during the national anthem? Oh, the retired vet. Right. So it really wasn't Kaepernick's idea to kneel. It was his idea to sit during the national anthem. But the reasons why he sat are the same reasons why he kneeled during the national anthem. Against police brutality. Injustice in this country. Injustice. So that is the individual that Alan West must look towards. My thing is, Alan West needs to learn how to face the people that he's criticizing. But of course, Alan West isn't going to do that. Let me tell you what cowards do. Cowards never face people that they badmouth. Never. And I can guarantee you, under no circumstances will you have Alan West and Kaepernick in the same room having a discussion about why he made the choice to do what he's doing. But this is America, right? This is America. You're talking about police brutality. Police officers are getting away with violations, abuse of power, killing innocent black men, women, and children. Like, and there's no consequences behind it. So, to Allen West, which of course, I know he's not even man enough. He's not strong enough. He's not humble enough to even sit down at the same table with Kaepernick and talk. See, this is the thing. When it comes to these politicians, the politicians are really not for the American people. And when I say they are really and truly not for the American people, they're not for me. They're not for you. They're not for Mexicans, Latinos. They're not for people of color. Heck, to be honest, they're not even for Caucasians, if you really think about it. They're not. They are only in the whole politic game for their own personal gain. It's a game to them. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And if you think that I'm joking, look it up for yourself. Check it out. Allen West speaks on Nike and Colin Kaepernick. I'll talk with you all later.